welcome everyone to another week of the Focus TV. We weren't here last week because NBA draft took place on the same night that we have our weekly show. So we'll get to that in just a little bit, but we're happy to be back for season 9, episode 30. Octavia White is here, Raymond Lyons, Cardo Dudley Jr., Wilson Tarpe Jr. We're gonna get started. Ray, I'm so happy once again. I've said this earlier, I'm saying it now, that you get to talk about what transpired on Sunday afternoon. I got to live it, but you watched it. So your thoughts on the latest with the Washington Mystics and how I was held hostage at CareFirst Arena for 6 to 7 hours on Sunday?
Yeah, so the Mystics had what we refer to in the business as a marathon game. They played the Portland Fire, and the game went to four overtimes, and luckily they won. 124, 123 was the longest game in WNBA history. Yeah, man, it was just a war of attrition, man. I was glad they pulled it out. It's a good win for a young team in this position. What is just still trying to figure things out. But recently they have been more poised in late game situations than they were early in the year. I think Cardale pointed out on the show. Had this been like game 4 or 5 this year, this is a game that they lose. And I agree with that. Earlier in the season, we saw them, kind of fizzle out during the stretch, down the stretch of our close games, and they were able to pull this one out. It wasn't without its dramatics. In regulation, they had a chance to ice at the free throw line. They didn't take advantage, and Portland came down. Carla Lette had a crazy three to send it into the first overtime, but ever since then they were just kind of back and forth. In the fourth OT, they just kind of saw their chance and seized the opportunity for the go-ahead basket. Shakira Austin found Sonia Citron on a nice cut, and Sonia finished with the layup. Sonia had a career game. She played 53 minutes, and she ended with a career high 32 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. She was 13 or 14 from the line, and that was a big part of the Mystics' victory. They got to the line 41 times. So they would just continue to be aggressive and continue to put pressure on Portland. So yeah, man, it's good to see them kind of figure things out in spurts. Still a long way to go. Turnovers have been a big thing for them. They had 17 turnovers in a game, but that's relatively speaking, that's not bad considering they played 4 extra periods of basketball. Typically they're at that number before the end of regulation. So yeah, man, they continue to make strides. During the game, Georgia Amore, she was sidelined with a knee injury. So, hopefully she's okay. Might have just been something precautionary given her injury history. Once any discomfort kind of creeps in, it's just better to go ahead and err on the side of caution. So they're in action again on Thursday. So I'm sure we'll get updates as their status as the week progresses. But yeah, man, I don't envy you, Wilson, for having to sit through that. But at the same time, I'm sure it was exciting in the building. And again, yeah, they'll be in action on Thursday against the Atlanta Dream. And following that, they play the Golden State Valkyries on Monday, July 6th. So hopefully next week we can report on 2 more wins.
For sure. Now, credit to the fans. They were there, opening tip until it was finally over, until let's say's runner hit the back rim, and all the lights in the building went red. So credit to them for that. Yeah, I'm sure it was a wild ride as a fan. At least I get to say I got to be a part of history for the game that never ended. So that was cool. On to the NBA. Man, they were on one this morning early. It's been crazy news-wise since the draft last week. If you guys don't mind, if you missed any of the draft coverage, we were busy all last week. Cardell had boots on the ground. Ray and I were on stream. Mystics duty last week, too. Had a lot going on, that said. For Wizards draft 2026 coverage, head over to the channel. Again, Cardell was fortunate enough to get in questions in to AJ on the night of the first round. Got a question into Will Dawkins on that night as well. Got some pressers or whatnot from conclusion of the draft. So good stuff in there. But Cardell, you were actually there. What was that like for you before we get into free agency and whatnot?
I mean, it was dope. It was a night with a feeling of a lot of optimism and excitement moving forward. They got the guy they definitely wanted. You could tell how everybody was celebrating when they selected him. On the broadcast, the whole Wizards front office staff, the war room, you could just hear them clapping loud. Probably the loudest applause I've heard in a while. He AJ's a talented kid, man. He fits a lot of their needs in one player. The versatility that he brings on both ends of the floor, we all spoken about, but it speaks for itself, man. And to be that young and be that good and still have a lot of upside is just something you can't pass on, especially at that size, man. This draft, especially at the top of this draft, it was more so a thing of it's a lot of talent, but you got to draft off fit and need. It's not the type of draft where you just go with best available talent. It's not a draft where it's like a Wemby who's just clear cut. Look, we'll figure it out because he's so generational. We gotta just draft him and figure it out. It's not like that. But that's not to say some of these players won't, become one of the ones. Because it's a lot of talent. It's just that, I know the Wizards. Like Darren Peterson, just because he went second, the Wizards didn't select him, don't mean he isn't going to be good. Two things can be right. Like he could be good. Caleb Wilson could be good. Cam Boozer, they could be good. They just not the fit for the Wizards. You know what I mean? Even though I still feel AJ is the best player in the draft, he fits more boxes for what they need. And if you actually watch the game, which I'm sure a lot of people didn't because the Wizards had a historic bad season, you know what I mean? At one point, especially at that Bam game, they were literally the laughing stock of the basketball world. He's just being honest. What they needed. And he's the kid that checks a lot of boxes. The only thing left now is to get in the trenches and get the experience. And once he gets the experience with the best that they have around him and the talent that they had, the young core that they have, why shouldn't there be optimism? Why shouldn't there be some expectations down compared to the past couple seasons where it's like, all right, y'all should at least be shooting for the play-in bottom half of the playoff race, man. You know what I'm saying? If y'all healthy, y'all come together and do what y'all need to do. The talent is there. We've seen it in doses. We know what AD can do. He's proven. We know what the young core brings when they're on their game. The thing I'm most excited about is Trae Young because the short stints that he had when he played, even when he's playing, it didn't matter who he's playing with. When he's playing with some of the young core guys, some of the vets, even two-way guys, the guys that brought from G League, you could see him control the game and orchestrate things and be a point guard, just be a point guard, but still be able to score, do his thing. You can see how he's able to control the game now with a full roster healthy. AD back in the fold, got to get SAR healthy, but he should be ready by the end of the season. Beginning of the season. AJ now, with the versatility that they have, man, let's just say he has a lot of options now. You know what I mean, to do what he need to do. So yeah, it should be some excitement moving forward, man. But then at the end of the day, you got to play the games. You got to prove it. Simple as that. And that's the name of the game with the NBA, man. So if they can prove it and hit the ground running, should be exciting season coming up for the Washington Wizards. But yeah, it was a lot of excitement on draft night. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was fun talking to AJ. He's gonna be refreshed. Look, if he hoop, DC's gonna love him. Because he has the personality to handle the DC media, so to speak, handle the DC area. And I think he has the focus and the people behind him and with his pops, his mom, his family, where let's just be frank, he won't get caught up in them DC streets, them DC nightlife, which is very, very attractive to young, talented, rich athletes. It's taken out quite a few. And I'm just being real, being from here. I know what the temptation is. So if he could block that out, just stay focused on the court, he'll be just fine, man. But there's gonna be a lot of people pulling at him. You know what I'm saying? This ain't BYU. This ain't Utah. This is a different animal. So if he just stay locked in and do what he need to do, he'll be fine, man. So yeah, man, talent is there. They have so much versatility on this roster. and that's what the exciting thing is, man. So count on AJ. And the beautiful thing, last thing that we can move on, beautiful thing about the AJ situation is, even though he was the number one pick, he's not being thrust into the main role right away, where he got it like Cooper Flagg did last year. He just got to figure everything out. You know what I'm saying? Not he's you're not even gonna probably be you're not gonna be the number one option. Depending on how you play in training camp and all that, you're gonna be one of the 3 or 4 options. Just be real, because you're the number one pick. But we all know where the ball going first, and that's Trey and AD. You know what I'm saying? So then you go from there. So that's gonna take a lot of pressure off of him. It's gonna allow him to fill out his overall game without having the pressure. Like, I got to go out and get 25, 30. I got to at least match with Cooper Flagg there. Like, you know what I'm saying? He could just play at a steady, healthy pace and just impact winning. And through that, you can still learn how to be what his talent has him on the projection to be, which is all-star, all-NBA caliber player if he reaches the ceiling. So that's what's most encouraging.
Yeah, I know everyone can't wait. The NBA surely did it because they couldn't wait for that first summer league matchup they made in Utah Washington in 2 seconds. Like, AJ got drafted, and they announced Darren got drafted by pick 4. We knew who was playing who in summer league already. But yeah, looking forward to it. I agree with you about his temperament. Definitely has the right temperament to deal with. Yeah, leave that at that. All right, so free agency officially started this evening at about, what's not about. It started officially at 6:01 p.m. Eastern. That said, you know how news breaks. Technically, we started getting news like, a couple days before the draft, and stuff's just been piling on by the minute. So, Cardell, where you want to start? Because there's so much that has happened, or, in principle, on the verge of happening, and we're waiting for things to happen.
Yeah, man, I'm just gonna go down the line, man, and just get your thoughts on it. We ain't gonna make it, algebra test. We just gonna get right to it, man. So obviously, out in LA, LeBron James has informed the Los Angeles Lakers that he will continue his NBA career next season, but has ruled out signing with the team or will play elsewhere. James has been strongly linked with joining the Golden State Warriors, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Miami Heat are also expected to pursue James, with several other teams also likely to express interest. James first joined the Lakers in 2018, led the franchise to the NBA championship in 2020. The most successful season following the championship season that the Lakers had was with LeBron is 2023 when they reached the Western Conference Finals. The Lakers obviously pivot towards Luka Doncic being the guy, totally. After the Lakers decided not to offer James a new contract in 2025, James, to his credit, settled in as the third option on the Lakers behind Doncic and Austin Reeves. And with Austin Reeves also having a new deal that's coming, James kind of, saw the writing on the wall. Let's call it what it is. Past season, LeBron finishes his regular season with 20.9 points, 6.1 rebounds, 7.2 assists, and 33.2 minutes across 60 games. James had a PER of 20.5, which was his lowest mark since his rookie season in 2003 or 4, when he had an 18.3 mark. Octavia, we're going to start with you. What are your thoughts on LeBron opting out, and where do you see him best fitting in next season?
It's like the LeBron cycle never stops. It just never stops. I mean, I was watching tennis today, literally, and in the middle of the tennis, Serena came back today, Jesus Christ, and they was like, but LeBron said he's not coming back to LA. I feel like this has been talked about for a while, if he would or if he wouldn't. A lot of people are saying the writing was on the wall when Luka got there. He could kind of start to realize that they're shifting away from him and that it's going to be Luka's team. I was interested in hearing the fact that it's not about money in this situation, that he's looking to play for happiness. However that is described. I'm not surprised, to be fair. I feel like he likes to be the guy, regardless if this is his 20 whatever season and he's 40 whatever. We know LeBron feels as though he's the best ever to do it. We've heard him say that multiple times. So I'm not surprised. I'll be honest, I really don't care too much where he goes. I know that sounds bad, but I really don't. But of course, I think the biggest intrigue that they have going around now is if, and I was listening to sports radio the other day, and they were calling them the Golden Boys, like the Golden Girls. If the Golden Boys end up in Golden State, it's like a retirement home out there, but I don't know. And there's been this whole LeBron wants to really play with Steph thing, and I mean he hasn't been happy since he played with Steph in the Olympics and all of these things. So I feel like that's probably the most interesting thing that could possibly happen, even though part of that situation has already been foiled because there were also rumors that they were trying to get Anthony Davis over there, and the Wizards already came out and said, we're not shopping him. He's not going anywhere. So y'all can just go ahead and let that go. So now we're down to 3 Golden Boys to see how that pans out there. So who knows where he'll end up. I know, like you said, the front runners are Golden State, Miami, which is just him, Bam, and Giannis. I don't know how I like that either. I don't know where he goes, but I just know like when it happens, it's going to be like, I know we used to always talk about like when somebody gets moves of a certain caliber, you can kind of feel it. So I'm interested to see if he still has that gravity when he moves somewhere, wherever it may be. I honestly have no idea, nor do I care where he ends up. I mean, especially if he's saying it's just for the love of it at this point. I have to see that to believe it. When it comes to LeBron James, because we know everything he does is calculated. So, I mean, that's going to be interesting. I think really what's the most interesting is how Bronny's going to fare without him. Like, I just want to see that part unfold on the back end of it. But, yeah, not surprised. It's been talked about a lot. I do think that a lot of people thought that he would stay because he has built so much of a home base. I believe they said this is the team he's played the longest for consecutively throughout his entire career. So, I guess we'll see where he ends up.
Right. Yeah, right, Aaron? You got him? All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I actually don't have much to say. But yeah, this was obvious. Is that relationship was souring for some time, and yeah, man, I could, from my perspective, he just didn't seem comfortable with the whole them starting to pivot towards Luka thing. But I'm not in the man's head. That's neither here nor there. But as far as his next move, I think he needs to go home. We've had enough. Just plain and simple, man. No matter where he goes, we're gonna have to put up with the same stuff for another season, and I'm just tired. We're tired, bro. It's nothing else to do. Like, just go home. Leave us alone, please.
Oh, well, Wilson.
All right, I guess I will at least stick to basketball. I guess Golden State, or just thinking, as Octavia said, most of the moves have been calculated. I think one of like I'll jump out there, and I think Cardell, I said this to you a while ago. I think the biggest thing, and maybe like the most Teflon thing in the way that they might be thinking, just go home to Cleveland for like the last thing, where no matter what happens, it's everybody else's fault but yours because of your age. Like, you just, whatever happens, this is not on you. Like, you're gonna get praised for coming back home, because you're ending it where it began. The narratives are gonna write themselves. I thought it was also very kind of the Lakers to partake in the very classy PR way that they rolled this information out. Bro, we knew what time it was when they got Luka. That was them saying, we have pivoted. That was it. Like, you don't get Luka. Like, Luka's that's a heliocentric player. You don't go get that if you want those two to coexist. Like, yeah, they could play together, but come on now. Like, all right, like, we knew that, and it was a matter of time. So guess what? Time's up. Clock ran out. You made, you moved on. I think it was part of the plan for the Lakers, of course, but that was cute that the way that they allowed it to be announced through the PR today. That was cool. Kudos to them or whatever. I wasn't one of the people that was like, oh my gosh, this is I'm gonna read this, verbatim, and this is exactly what happened. Nah, man, I'm not going for that. But I'm sure he would love to go to Steph, because obviously there's some built-in flack there. But I'm leaning Cleveland. I just think Cleveland's the most Teflon place where, the band of follow, what do they call the witnesses, what have you, both on the outside and on the inside. They're not, like, again, whatever happens, it just won't be on him.
Yeah, for me, it's multiple layers. I mean, I'm kind of on the vibe with all of you guys as far as the narrative and all that other stuff. I can care less about that. Like, I'm over it. My mind is on what happens on the court. I don't get caught up in that legacy thing. You know what I mean? One, his legacy cemented a long time ago, but I'm not going to jump through hoops because he decided to opt out and go see what's out there with the rest of the league, where else he can play. At this point, who knows? Because we don't know what other teams are trying to get him. Behind the scenes, I know certain teams been throwing out their Golden State, Miami. Obviously going back home. I do agree with Wilson. If he do go back home, he will be Teflon. But then again, he's been Teflon most of his career. We're gonna be real. Like, it's always everybody's fault when things fall short. You know what I mean? And then that's a big thing. Reason why, you don't see a lot of teammates outside of teammates that won championships with him. They don't really say much. You know what I mean? Because it's not fair to know. But that's neither here nor there. He still has some, at least offensively, he still has some left in the tank. Defensively, it was his worst year of his career, which is to be expected because he's older. He hasn't been able to guard elite players for a long time, for a while. And I'm not talking about in stretches. I'm talking about consistently holding somebody and really guarding the matchup. He hasn't been able to do that. He's had to save his energy for offense. That's why I do think, I think going to Cleveland, would check more boxes, but I do think he would be okay in Miami, especially with them just getting Tim Hardaway, which will, the shooter that everybody's like they needed. Well, that's a proven shooter. We're going to get to him in a few. But, yeah, with him, and then you got Giannis and Bam behind you, two of the best defensive bigs in the league that can cover up that aspect that he's no longer good at. Then you still got Wiggins to deal with the go-to wings and stuff where you can preserve your energy, and then you could be the point forward. You could be what you are, point guard. And you got the shooter, you got Tim Hardaway, you got the bigs rolling. You can get downhill, post up, do what you need to do. Yeah. They will have something going there. You know what I'm saying? That'll be something to build off of. With Cleveland, yeah, but who you have to give up? I know we're going to get to the part about James Harden. He's withholding signing the deal to try to see what's going on with LeBron before he probably would sacrifice a little money to get LeBron and stuff. Even with that, their bigs got to get tougher on that end. He will obviously be an upgrade at wing. And him and James, or at least offensively, will complement one another because they can take pressure off of one another, man. Like James has he has the ball in his hands a lot, and he can't do that no more. But he can still shoot the ball, conserve his energy. So that means, LeBron can take over point forward, and he can kind of transition to being off the ball, being a shooting guard. See what I'm saying? And vice versa. They can play off one another like that. Donovan Mitchell's still there, and that's the go-to guy to really, lead the way, carry the torch, so to speak, carry the load offensively. So, and then LeBron can do the all-around thing, which he's good at offensively. The only problem is in the playoffs, those three dudes, are they going to be able to guard? And that's the thing, you know what I mean? But like you said, when him being in Cleveland, they fall short. He's Teflon. What do you expect a 42-year-old to do? He's going to be 42 at that point. What do you expect a 42-year-old to do? They're going to write themselves. It's going to be an excuse, even if he don't play well. You know what I mean? So, look, man, we going to see what it is. But, I don't really have much more to add until he, picks a team and see what's out there. But I think at this stage, every team in the league pretty much realizes, because think about it, if they didn't, the Lakers wouldn't have let him go. They would still prioritize him. I think now, they realize he can't he's not a difference maker. You winning a championship no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna have to be some give and take. Like the whole franchise can't revolve around you like that because you're not that guy no more. You could be a valuable piece for sure, but you're not that guy no more. So it's gonna be interesting where he land. He end up. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see how it goes. Moving on, the Toronto Raptors and the Los Angeles Clippers have finalized a trade of Kawhi Leonard for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 first-round picks, 1 pick swap, and 2 second-rounders. Leonard led the Raptors to the 2019 NBA championship and then left the franchise to sign with the Clippers. The Clippers had elected not to offer Leonard an extension this offseason, which led him to enter the trade market. Leonard signaled that the Raptors were the one team where he commit a long-term extension. Leonard's coming off one of his strongest individual campaigns, averaging 27.9 points across these 5 regular season games. He earned all NBA second-team honors and placed 7th in MVP voting. The Clippers, however, finished 42-40 and were eliminated in the play-in tournament. Leonard will immediately become eligible to sign an extension worth up to $123.7 million over 2 seasons with Toronto. Yeah, Ray, your thoughts on the trade for Kawhi Leonard?
This was interesting. I mean, looks like to me they're banking on him being healthy, which is, given recent history, that's a big gamble. But I mean, if it works out, then good for all parties involved. A player of his talent, if he is able to compete, then that's a big plus to have on your team. He did have a stretch last season where he was, he seemed to be that he returned to form. So, if he can keep that up and stay on the floor, then I like it for him. But he is 35. But I mean, they were kind of in a stagnant place. And if you can get your hands on a talent like that, then go ahead. But the only cause for concern for me is his health.
Wilson.
Yeah, the only issue I have is just with the health is obviously just managing him correctly. Clearly, he feels fine about the way Toronto did it last time he was here. He was there as the why. He's down with resigning. But man, I texted y'all in the group chat earlier. Like, it just makes that division the Wizards are in that much more interesting. Because Toronto goes from, hey, it's a cute group of guys in there, a cute group, and it's like, hey, they try hard, they play defense, it's fun. Hey, serial killer, right? Just here's somebody with a bunch of bodies on their resume. And when, like, that's the thing. The thing with him is just if he's healthy. Like, after you get past the serial killer. There's no question marks. There's nothing. It's one of the baddest dudes in the league. And I think one of the things that can help him stay fresh, obviously he still clamps up with the best in the league. You got a whole Scotty Barnes. Well, obviously still him. Defensively, there's been a little leakage, but you got Scotty Barnes over there where maybe he gets a chance now to play a little bit more of the what you would talk about kind of with LeBron, where he does a little bit of everything. Scotty does impact the game in so many different ways, where like literally what Toronto's been missing since Kawhi left was the go-to guy. And obviously one of the things that happened in Toronto that people forgot was after Kawhi left, like they lost Pascal Siakam a little bit after that too. He went over to Indiana, played a big role in them, helped leading them to the finals or whatnot. And that wasn't that long ago. But yeah, man, you get a whole serial killer. And we see that team several times a year. They get after it on that end. Yeah, I'm not mad at it at all. I know it costs a couple picks or whatnot, but I think they traded for Brandon Ingram, trying to see if Brandon Ingram could fill the shoes of being that guy, the go-to guy. And instead, you just went and got a proven one. This again, that the health is a concern.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, I think when I heard the Drake album, I was like, let me get back to Toronto. But anyways, but no, I agree with all y'all. I think the biggest thing in this situation is just his health. We saw how well he played last year when he was healthy. We saw how he played in the All-Star game as well. So we know that that's still locked in there for him. And like you said, to keep Scotty Barnes in the situation was definitely helpful for the Raptors. I know they had to give up to Brandon Ingram, but I mean, Brandon Ingram was also a little bit banged up pretty much this year as well, especially within the playoffs and their run. He didn't play like the last 3 games, I believe, or something like that. But if Kawhi is healthy, it's definitely a game changer for them. I think it's interesting that now that whole Clippers experiment, it seems like he was the last piece of that experiment to leave the building. And now they're in a kind of a rebuild or reload, whatever you want to call mode. Maybe they're getting a tiny bit younger because I believe last year when we started with the Clippers, they were a lot older, and how things changed quickly in a year from a lot of the people that they let go with the James Harden and now Kawhi as well. So I'm interested to see how it works. You know, I'm sure he probably feels like it's a little less wear and tear on the East than it is in the West. But as we know, the East is always a little bit, you know, you never know what you're going to get out there. And I think we got some teams that are retooling this year as well. And then I think this quietly also does some things about his investigation of this fake company that he was working for that he didn't do nothing for. So, and because I think they still hadn't had a resolution on that. So this kind of quietly distanced himself from that as well as the Clippers distancing themselves from that as well. So it kind of just seems like it works out for all parties. So it just depends on both if Brandon Ingram as well as Kawhi, of course, can stay healthy to help both of the teams.
Yeah, man. They get the closer that they needed. You know, Ingram, he kind of struggled in the playoffs to be that guy. You know, the playoffs are a different animal. So I think they just kind of saw like they may feel like he's not that guy. They know Kawhi's that guy. He's delivered. You know what I mean? So you don't got to question that. And you got young horses that's still the RJ Barrett, not Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, Murray Boyles, young fella. He's strong to rook. Shade, you know what I'm saying? Jameson Battle, the sniper, Manuel Quickly, point guard. You got some heat over there where they can carry the load, and then hey, late in the game, Kawhi. That's what we brought you in here for. And then you know what you say, turns into John Wick, so to speak, and he gets the job done. You know what I mean? So the only thing is his defense isn't the same. Now we're gonna see if that's a byproduct of him playing with the Clippers, you know, that roster, or is it, you know, he's just Asian. Now I don't expect him to be Spurs Kawhi when he first got in the league like that. You know what I'm saying? That was just one of the ones. Like that's one of the best defensive players the game has had. I don't expect him to be at that level, but I do expect him to be a lot more quality than was. Like he had the lowest defensive rating of his career. One of them last year, 113. The only year that was worse was 23-24 when he was on 114, but his offensive rating was off the charts. He was a 124. So he was getting it done, man. So, yeah, they got a lot of young talent. I love the coach up in Toronto. He's a bad boy himself. So, yeah, they're going to be a problem if he just stays healthy, you know, do what he needs to do, man. But the thing is, he don't have to carry that load, man. Just plug in throughout the regular season, conserve your energy. When the playoffs time, get in kill mode, and let's see if we can go on a run. Pretty much how like LeBron's did it with the Lakers last year. You know, preserving himself in the Lakers game, he turned it up as much as he could. Do the same thing. And 35, you know, he's still got enough juice in those days to get it done if he manages, you know, that the chronic knee situation best way possible, man. But yeah, I like the move, you know, definitely. And Ingram going to the Clippers. We're gonna see how it goes. You know what I'm saying? See how the Clippers put together their roster, man. We already know what Ingram is. 20, 21, 22 point per game score, like 6 rebounds, 3 or 4 assists. We know what you're gonna give him. See if Ty Lue can bring more out of him. You know what I mean? And then we'll go from there. All right, I said we'll kind of get back to this Harden in anticipation of the Cavs trying to go for LeBron. He declined his $42.3 million player option on Monday and is now officially a free agent. He's expecting to resign with Cleveland, but is waiting to finalize the deal like I said, to preserve the franchise flexibility to potentially add LeBron James for next season. Cleveland's current payroll wouldn't allow them to offer James anything beyond a league minimum of roughly $4 million. If Harden accepts a $30 million salary, Cleveland will land near the NBA's projected first apron of $209 million. The Cavaliers would then need to shed approximately $16 million below that threshold to access the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, which projects at a $15 million starting salary. To create that space, Cleveland is working to trade Max Strus. Lead sources say Strus is set to earn $16.6 million next season. If the Cavaliers can move his contract without taking back salary and Harden signs at $30 million, the team will be positioned to offer James the full mid-level exception. Wilson, your thoughts on James potentially taking less to add LeBron? And if they do, what are your thoughts on them and what they can possibly be? How much damage they could do?
I think he's definitely waiting to see how they fit in Bron, whether it's straight out as a free agent or is, sign and trade, whatever works best for them. Because like you said, you got that apron life. I know everybody gets so excited about free agency, man. Throw all those wild, crazy, fun thoughts away. Go Google Trade Machine and let it just rain on your little parade. No, hardly any of those things are possible. So instead of having, waiting until Tuesday so I can tell you it's not going to work, you can find out as soon as somebody on TV says something crazy. Then you'd be like, hey, that's not going to work. The money won't match. And then you won't be upset. Then I don't have to be the rude person. But fitting Bron in could be cool. Like, I'm kind of like where you were at earlier. I could see it on offense for sure. I don't know what you do defensively because you probably got to move one of them bigs to bring Bron in. Unless you like,
they wouldn't. They wouldn't. He just got signed a mid-level exception, which reports are he's willing to do for the right situation. So they wouldn't.
So he would take the mid-level. James would take a little less. It'd be Bron taking mid-level.
He just
and then you keep the rest of the team in.
Yeah. Okay. There's no point.
Right. All right, then I could see it. I don't like it as much as some other things, but I can see it. But yeah, that even with, again, like what we just finished talking about the bigs just, like a couple months ago in the playoffs. Like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but like Bron showing up doesn't change who they are. Like it helps offensively and that's cool, but on that other end, so that means like 1 through 5, nobody knows. Like you can't just be like, hey, that guy's gonna give me a stop. Like that's concerning to me. Like that's just like I get it. It sounds good. Storybook wise, it'd be wonderful. But that other end of the floor terrifies me greatly.
Octavia, your thoughts?
Yeah, not surprising. I'm sure. I feel like in a lot of the places that James Harden's been, he's been very complimentary to other people coming in because I feel like he knows he needs the help. So I feel like he's always kind of been a little bit complimentary. I know there are times, of course, when he hasn't, but I feel like that was like back when he was with Houston. But not surprised, but I 100% agree with Wilson. Like, I don't really feel like it moves the needle to me for what the Cavs do. Until they actually get over a certain hump, like I feel like whatever they do in the regular season, like I wouldn't really care. It will come down to what they would do in the postseason. We've talked about this team for the last 2 years, maybe 3. And no matter what they've done, whether they have changed coaches, brought in star players, it still has not gotten done. So I mean, yeah, bringing in LeBron would be like you guys talked about earlier, a good story for him. We know how calculated he is. And I do believe it would give him some of a built-in excuse that we know that he likes as well, because everybody's coming for James Harden's neck and Donovan at times. And also, like you said, the bigs. But I mean, it don't move me that much for him to do it. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. Like you said, like I'm more worried about their defensive side of the ball as well, because even without LeBron there, like we see the defense wasn't that great anyway, and you're just adding somebody else that's also not as efficient in defense as he used to be earlier on in his career. So I just feel like Cleveland right now is one of those franchises like I just don't believe in whatever they do. So it takes a lot of it'll take a lot for me to really see it as anything else.
Right.
Yeah, I'm unmoved. This doesn't put them any closer to where they want to get to, because they're still not going to be able to defend. It is what it is, man. We saw the playoffs. You're not going to win if you can't guard nobody, and yeah, we saw how they went out. So anybody that thinks LeBron is in a position to dramatically improve that situation, I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, for narrative sake, sure, go ahead, knock yourself out. But yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work out for them.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of spoke about it a little bit earlier. The only thing it will put so much pressure on those bigs to have to hold things down, dog, because it's gonna be it's gonna be guys coming down to paint all the time, man. Like seriously, you know what I mean? And they Jared Allen, they might Evan Mobley, they might be 1 or 2 in blocks because they're gonna get a whole lot of challenges at the basket, dog. I mean, and then also the analytics factor that the style that Cleveland plays, you see them like you're gonna have to change your style to fit LeBron, which I'm pretty sure they would do. They would incorporate it to an extent, but it's just like they gonna have to get rest at some point, and then the reserves, what are they gonna do? You see what I'm saying? And that's why the Knicks made easy work of them. Let's call it what it was, man. You know what I mean? And their offense was potent last year. They were like 4th in points per game, 5th in offensive rating, something like that last year. The Cleveland Cavaliers was without LeBron, so he would definitely enhance that because I think with his size and what he could pose, he'll get them easier baskets. That's one thing he will add because Cleveland struggled to get easy baskets. They're bigs. You just from game to game, you don't know what the hell you're gonna get from them. Like one minute Jared Allen looked like an all-star, Evan Mobley as well. Then the next minute it's like, yo, what happened? What's going on? You know what I mean? So LeBron will be able to he will make up for that. He would get the easier baskets because he's gonna get the calls. He knows how to, manipulate the fouls, like as far as driving to the lane, bumping the defender, being able to draw fouls and stuff, post ups and all that, and in transition. You know what I'm saying? So, and obviously Donovan and James Harden with their ability to shoot the ball, they're gonna have gravity. Defenders gonna have to stay close to them, and then LeBron can get downhill. And then he can do his dish all, dumps all to the bigs with us. So offensively, they're gonna be more potent. But again, when you play like a team like the Knicks that got matchups that can guard you one-on-one, you know what I mean? What are you gonna do? But you can't guard them one-on-one. What are you gonna do? And even with LeBron at his position, the East is deep at his position. We just spoke about Scotty Barnes and Kawhi and RJ Barrett. That's on one team. Then you got OG and them boys, Kyle Bridges over there. They world champions. They Boston. You still got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown as of now. You know what I'm saying? So you got to deal with that. Miami, you still got to deal with Wiggins and Bam, and they interchangeable at the 4. You still got some forwards you got to deal with, man. And then Pascal, like Tyrese Halliburton, the Pacers coming back, and they got the center from the Clippers, Zubac. You know what I'm saying? So you feel what I'm saying? Like in Detroit, we gotta see what they're gonna do. I think they're gonna keep Durant. They just like, nah, they playing kind of back and forth negotiation game. Nah, we ain't paying you that. We ain't give you the max. But if you can go out there and find it, we'll match it. But if you can't find it, come on, get this deal done so you can get back here and we can get back. That's basically what's going on right now. So my point is, and then who knows? Like the Wizards roster, what they put it together. That's a lot of young bulls you guys deal with at the wing, man. Like, and they all like 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", literally, legit. So I'm just throwing the what could be's out there so people can understand. Like, it is Orlando, how different they gonna look. Atlanta was annoying. What if Philly stays healthy? Paul George looked good last year, especially when he came back from the suspension. Tyrese is Tyrese. Edgecombe was going to be a year better. What if, Embiid is similar to Kawhi? When he's in there, monster. He just got to be there. Now, if he's there, it's the certain matchups is going to be a problem. Let's say they meet Philly in the first round of Cavs with LeBron. What you going to do? Because Embiid going to eat them boys alive. So that's what I'm saying. It's still not enough. So just throwing all the outcomes out there. But yeah, it won't be his fault. It'll be their fault once again. So it's just how I go, man. But we gonna see how it goes, man. Some interesting things in this offseason already. Moving on to the hometown team. Just to confirm, the Washington Wizards are not interested in engaging with teams on a potential trade of Anthony Davis. The Golden State Warriors were linked with trade interest to Davis this week, while the Portland Trailblazers were also rumored to be lining up potential discussions over the weekend before they moved on to a Ja Morant deal. Rich Paul met with the Wizards on Sunday to discuss the future of Davis with the franchise ahead of a potential extension decision in August. Davis is eligible this offseason for a 4-year extension worth up to $275 million. The Wizards acquired Davis from the Dallas Mavericks in February, obviously for expiring contracts and 2 first-round picks. Davis has yet to play a game for the Wizards, who signed Trae Young to a 4-year, $212 million deal. Obviously, the Wizards selected A.J. DeMonster with the first overall pick. Octavia, you want to start with you? Just your thoughts on the Wizards saying, nah, we rolling away AD, at least for now.
No, I agree. I was just saying, like, definitely, like, you did everything to get him. He hasn't even played in a game for you yet. Like, at least get out there and see what he can do for you, especially with, like you said, signing Trae, getting AJ DeMonza, getting Alex Sarback healthy. Like, they have a nice little core if it can actually work out. Yeah, and they definitely. I always say I'm not the contracts person and all that other stuff, but that much money for Anthony Davis, he better go out there and play in 82 games this year before they start thinking about depth. I wish that's crazy. Like, but I mean, I get it. I think I heard they said it's like his 15th year in the league. Like, it's crazy to think about it, because if you think about it, it's his 15th year in the league, but it don't feel like it because he hasn't played in a lot of games in the 15 years. So sometimes it's hard for me at least to equate that. Dang, he's really been in the league that long. So I understand why, and we know the caliber player he is. We've seen it. We just haven't seen it consistently enough in the last however many years you want to do it at this point. But I agree. Keep him. He came over there. Obviously, there was rumors about before he got traded that he would possibly be coming back and playing in Dallas later on that year. And then when he got to Washington, they shut it down for the whole year. I expect him to be ready to go as the season starts for the Washington Wizards with Trae Young and AJ DeMonster. So, yeah, I'm there with them at this point, and they got to at least see what they get out of the trade, because I just can't see you getting, like, not even attempting to see how it would have worked out.
And another factor why I seem like he hasn't been in the league that long, he's played on teams that weren't in the postseason, like the Pelicans early in his career.
Yeah.
Dallas, he's played on some teams that were just mediocre, but even though he had some bright spots. If they ball out, the Wizards killing, he looking like AD. Do you give him the extension, or you let the whole year play out?
I need me personally, I need the whole year. That's just, like me, I need the whole year. Because when's the last time we've seen him play a whole year? For that amount of money, knowing that I'm already giving somebody else on my squad that close to if whatever you just said it was for Trae, I need to see it for the entire year, my man. I need to see you engaged. I need to see you healthy. I need to see you playing well. Like, I don't need to see street clothes no more. Like, you need to be in uniform. And I get it, and I would probably give him the benefit of the doubt because, like, again, he is a little bit older, of course, so there's going to be maintenance and things of that sort to make sure he is fresh. But he needs to play in at least the required amount of games in order to be, not saying that he's going, I mean, I don't know how he's going to play next year, but at least the amount of games that are required for you to be eligible for postseason eligibility.
65.
Yeah.
So you say when the last time he played the whole year, you mean 82 was just a lot of games.
I'll give him a lot of games because I don't think he's ever played 82. I don't think anybody. There's like
there you go.
There's like 3 people who's ever played in all games and in the entire season, like Mel Bridges and somebody and like 2 other people. But I mean like significant amount of games. Like that's why I said
the last time was the 23-24 season with the Lakers. He played 76 games.
Okay. That's not that long ago, so I take it back. I give him a little bit more grace. It's not as long as I thought it was, so I give him a little bit of grace.
All right, Ray, your thoughts?
Yeah, that was just always noise to me. It wouldn't make no sense for the Wizards to trade him at this point because they acquire him and trade obviously be a part of the future. But in regards to what they should do moving forward, they need to treat it like overseas and go back to the table every summer. Because, yeah, man, given this history, man, locking that in for 4 years at that amount, as soon as the ink dry, Anthony Davis goes down.
You talking about Ezel time? You on Ezel time? My neck, my back.
But no, on the serious note, man, hopefully he he is able to remain healthy and produce here. This team's gonna be interesting, man.
Yeah.
With him in the mix, SARS coming back. They already locked Trey up. So yeah, it would make no sense for them to move him, especially for what people was talking about with that whole Golden State situation. That's not even. It was just like when people was talking about trading the number 1 pick. You don't go through all that maneuvering to get to this point and then give up the stuff you were trying to get. It just makes no sense. But yeah, man. If he comes in and produces, then by all means. But just like when we were talking about earlier with Kawhi, that health is always the question mark. And yeah, man, hopefully that part works out for him. Because again, that's another player when he's on the court, undeniable. But it's just the fact that he's got to get on the court. So yeah, man, if he's healthy and playing, give him the contract. If something comes up where you can move him for acceptable return, might want to explore that as well. But yeah, they kind of hamstrung. I think they're in a point where they really don't have a choice. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Wilson.
Yeah, it's not even a basketball for me at this point. Just with the way the roster's constructed and just with your health, like it's $58 million this year, right? It's bad business to lock in for 4 years, not knowing if you're gonna be there. That's just bad business. It's not for me. It has nothing to do with like he's a hell of a player, but like Cardell, it was funny when you asked Octavia about the 82 game thing. First thing I did when you started talking about Anthony Davis, I started pulling up like I wanted to go look at that games played because I know obviously like I'm not street clothes things, it's funny or whatever, but we got to go a few years back to that 76 year, right? Then you got to go almost 5 years before that till you get another 60 game year. Again, not being rude, just I'm living in reality and from purely business, not basketball. Sir, even for you, AD, it behooves you to hoop this year, regardless if it's with your future is with Washington or not. Because that deal that you want, whether it happens in DC or somebody else, that's 65 games. That's bare minimum. Like that has to happen. Not because of the awards or anything else, but because it doesn't happen often. And what you're asking for, it's going to be hard. Like it was a little bit easier to do that with Trey because whatever's going on with Trey, he's on the court for the most part. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the good, the bad, the ugly, he's available. So if you're at peace where that's not even a thing in your mind for Washington in terms of the availability. Now for you, it's huge. The other thing with you that kind of sucks is the way this core is going, like they kind of have one of these youngsters is somebody who plays in the front court, so they don't have to do the thing with you if they don't want to. Also, if you hoop, maybe you get to the trade deadline and they do what they got to do, you get good return on the investment. It works out for everybody. The other side of this is you hoop, you realize how talented these kids are and where they're going, and maybe you change what the price is, and then we can talk about discussion to fit in where it's a good price, it makes sense, and you fit in with the future. But like that's the other thing. Like, I think we mentioned this way back in the year when we took, when they got Trey and when they brought in AD, like, bro, like when you look down the road, like if y'all two are here, that's great. But there's also the side of it is it's a young, talented core regardless. So either you're here or you're not here. So like, I think some of it is like a lot of people, I see a lot of the noise. People have not sat here and watched 3 years of Wizards basketball like we have. To be, you know what I'm saying? They don't know. They haven't gone through it. They haven't watched it. They have no idea what's really here because the freaking magic tricks that had to be played to achieve last year's goal to stay within that top 8 was crazy because it wasn't. I know again on the outside they make it seem like it was some talentless void and they just rolled the balls out and let the little kids play. Yeah, it was everything but that. The little kids were not given free reign to play 25, 30 minutes a night. Because if they did, they would have messed up the tank. Just would have happened. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing with AD is let him play through the year. And we can revisit this a little bit later. I check in with him close to the trade deadline. If you're stuck on give me the max for 275, I will help you find a place that wants to give you that. I will help you do that. But I just think it's a thing where I don't think people on the outside the Wizards don't have to do that. Like you just don't have to, especially. And I'm not even talking basketball. The availability part of it is just bad business to do something you don't have to do.
Yeah, I agree with everything all y'all said. I think one thing, if you're looking at this free agency early on, it's a whole lot of older players going back to where they originally left. Because they didn't quite appreciate it. I get it at the time. They was like, let me go get the money. I'm hot. But their eye ain't going back to what was, what should I call it? It was comfortable. You see what I'm saying? And I think even on AD's side, he should get this thing a chance because what he doesn't want to do, I get it. $275 million, it's a lot of money. Then it might be your last chance to get that type of money. I get it. But if you go there to a new team, you get that money, and they don't win and stuff, best believe they're going to be trying to get you up out of there, and that's going to be your last time even getting close to that. But what you also may have to face is this Wizards team, these young boys growing up, and now they are a problem. And you could have potentially, and now they in the championship mix, and you could have potentially added a couple more rings to that mix and stuff like that and been a part of it. You don't want that. You don't want that regret. You know what I'm saying? And you still can make a lot of money. Just be available. You see what I'm saying? Because to me, in this tax apron league that we're in, this tax apron era, you can't get 275 unless you one of them boys. Like you a franchise player and you're available, man. Like remember when Jaylen Brown got his $300 million contract? Now Tatum, he deserved it, but when Jaylen Brown got it, raised more eyebrows. You saw why this season when Tatum was out. But they were supposed to tank, dog. They were supposed to be in the tank. And they were like, hell no. And they still made it up at the top of the East. That's what you look for when you sign somebody to a big contract. Like, I could put our franchise on his back and we good. You see what I'm saying? You can't be that if you're not available. We know he's, dog, when he's on his game, the impact he makes on both ends of the floor, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It could be special. Because Saul already showing symptoms of getting, I ain't going to say he's going to get the AD level defender, but he can get close because he's already protecting the rim. And he oftentimes was by himself. he was down there fighting for his life. Now with him and AD, them bigs, they going to turn the corner. Let me pass that. It just, you know what I'm saying? It ain't going to be pump fake and try to dunk on them, stuff like that. It's two of these dudes, damn. And vice versa. Then you got on the wings, and now the expectations, y'all go ahead and win now. So now the wings like, word, we could hoop and be, I bet. Now we can play for something. So it's going to be a lot of hunger there. and a lot of competition within to determine who's gonna be on that court. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah, man, like play it out for half a season, see what things are. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of. Let's be real. Out of all the situations, the only two players, I mean, AD got something to prove with just being healthy. That's it. But he don't have nothing to prove as far as his game. Trey don't have nothing to prove as far as the game. They solidified multiple time All-Stars. Everybody else got something to prove. Even the coaching staff. Like, you got talent now. Can you win games? You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot to prove. So it's going to be a lot of competitive energy from summer league on. And that's why and that's another aspect why I like AJ being on the team. He's with that. Like, that's who he is. Like, yo, I'm about to kill homie. Because I can't believe y'all even think he should be in this. He can't mess with me. All right, I'm going to show y'all. I ain't even going to say nothing about it. He's on that type of time. So if he's coming in with that energy as a rookie, what you think it's going to do for the other young boys? Like, I ain't trying to lose my minutes. I like young boy and he can play, but I'm trying to be out there too. So it's going to be competitive in there. And Will Dawkins and all that, he keeps it 100. Look, sometimes he be a little PC, but he keeps it 100 with things. Like, nah, compete. Compete, and that would determine who's going to be on the floor. And he's consistently said this with all the draft picks. We put them on the floor, but they got to earn the right to be on the floor. It's as simple as that. So that's why I'm encouraged by it. But nah, you can't, like, I agree, you can't do that, man. Like, that because then what's the incentive for him to play all of a sudden? One little 8, yo, man, I ain't got it today, man. You know what I'm saying? And again, these DC streets are undefeated, man. We know what it does to many. It's undefeated, man. They get, man, we going to leave it alone, man. I know he a vet, but I mean, I get it. He was out of LA. That's a different type of time. It's Hollywood. I get it. That's DC different, man. I'm just going to say that, man. It done took out a lot of athletes, man, if you ain't careful. So we got to be sure, man. Everybody can't handle it, man. That's just facts, man. So you just got to be sure, man. But if he's locked in and he played the games, I mean, I expect the Wizards to do damage. They have to, you know what I'm saying? Or it's going to be some major change. It has to. Last one, then, you know, we can speed through these last couple. Obviously, Memphis traded Ja Morant to the Portland Trail Blazers for Jeremy Grant, Chris Murray. What are your thoughts? Ray, we start with you.
Yeah, I think it was definitely about that time. Hopefully, you know, this is a wake-up call to him, you know, because his status and situation has changed drastically over the past couple of years. He went from damn near being the face of the league to traded for scraps, to be honest, man. So, you know, hopefully he's got people around him that can guide him through this process. And internally, he's just like, yeah, man, my station has changed. I need to lock in and just focus on basketball, you know, because, I mean, he's a hell of a player, but that only goes but so far when so much else is going on around you. So, yeah, man, maybe get to breathe some fresh air and get his career back on track, you know, which would be great to see because he's a hell of a talent. But yeah, man, life comes at you fast. We went from we fine in the West to being in Portland. So get on it, buddy.
And I believe we called it on the show when we was like, y'all get it together, man. It changes quick. We've seen many a young team, they on the verge, they right there. And a year or two later, it's over. And it happened. Everybody gone. Him, Desmond, Jaren, they gone, man. So, and also, I hate to throw this out there, man, but I got to, you know, he's only played 79 games over the last 3 seasons combined. That's tough, man. Wilson, it's on you.
This is the last chance, bro. This is it. Get to Portland, make something shake. And like honestly, like not to be rude about it, like this last chance, hopefully, like you said, to only play 79 games is crazy. We know there's a myriad of reasons, a combination of reasons as to why. But for Portland, I get it. Like if you're gonna kind of like buy low, sell high type thing, that's the type of talent to do it with. We'll see what ends up happening. But I'm actually intrigued on like him coming in, what that means for some of the other guards. Honestly, like I'm like, who y'all about to give Drew Holiday to? Like, who y'all about to just gift him to? Because teams is just weird. So, what team are you gonna help make a contender by giving him a brand spanking new 2-way demon in Drew Holiday? But nah, I think it's great for him. And then I also think one of the things that hopefully helps is Dame should be healthy this year, so he's back around a little bit more. I know y'all be thinking we tripping because we're vets matter. A vet might be Dame might be everything this kid needs, especially because this is it, dude. You don't figure it out. That's it, bro. Like, that's it. We're just gonna be talking about it's gonna be a 30 for 30 of what happened. Like, that's it. Like, that's where you at right now. It's on you to go to Portland and avoid it. But like ESPN got that it's in the tuck, ready to go on a slow summer. What do we need? Oh, there's content right there. Don't be that guy. But you got to give second chance. We'll see what happens with it.
Octavian.
The 30 for 30 of what had happened was it's crazy. But nah, I agree with everything you guys said. This is definitely his last opportunity. I hope he has good people in his ears. I think that part of his issue was that he didn't have the right people in his ears in the places that in Memphis when he was there. For his sake, I hope his daddy just is calm. Like we don't need no extraness out there as well. But like Wilson said, that was the one thing that came to my mind immediately. It was like Portland got a lot of guards, man. They got a lot of guards out there, you know. So they got Ja, they got Dame, they got Drew, they got Shaden, they got Scoot, they got a lot of things going on out there, and there's only one ball. So I'm definitely interested to see what they end up doing with the rest of those as well. Seeing as how they're bringing Ja in. But yeah, it's definitely low risk, high reward possibility for them, especially with Portland kind of, you know, on a little bit of an upward trajectory with how they ended last year, even amidst all of the gambling issues that they had with their coach out there. But it's really up from here. Like, that's it, bro. Like, he needs to be on his best behavior and only focused on basketball. Just like you said, 79 games over 3 years is nasty, especially when, I mean, I don't know how many you can really attribute to, but a good chunk of that we know was a lot of his off-court antics as well. So hopefully he stays out of trouble. He stays in the gym, and he continuously, I hope he's been rehabbing his body, because I think a lot of those other games, of course, was that he launches himself so hard in the goddamn air, he fall, and he hurt everything every time he fall. So hopefully he's been, you know, he hasn't played. I don't even remember if he finished season out there in Memphis, knowing the situation that was going on between him and the coach. Hopefully he's been rehabbing, getting stronger, building up his body mass a little bit. Because playing out there, because I mean, he's still in the West, and we know, like, regardless of where you at out there, the smoke is coming. So yeah, good luck to him, because I like you said, 4 years ago, we thought he could have been literally the face of the league, and the league has passed him by. So he has to really, you know, buckle down and decide if he really wants to be, you know, what every young NBA star player wants to be, which is a star in the face of a league. And he still has some time because he's still young. You know, unfortunately, like, the stuff that he's gone through, of course, he's still young, but we know that athleticism doesn't last forever. So he needs to capitalize on that as much as he possibly can going forward. So good luck to him. I hope he does well, but I just hope he stays out of trouble.
Yeah, man, I think Dane would be very good for him. Also, they got Mike Norrie, who came for the Wolves, and when I say it's a coach that don't no cut card, that's him. Like, if it's a no cut card in the dictionary, his face will be there. So y'all gonna get it regardless. So it's best for him to be on his best behavior, because at the end of the day, I know they're saying, well, Micah, how can you really have control of the team if you're on a 1 year deal? Shit, I ain't got nothing to lose. So if I'm gonna go out, I'm going out with conviction. I'm going out stating what I believe. I think I'm not worried about all the guards. Let's be real. They know what's coming in San Antonio. Most teams out west, they building for that. You know what I'm saying? So Drew at his age, man, he can play the 3, even though he may not have to, because Denny's still there. You got Clinton, you know, you still got other pieces there. Dame can play the two. They get to him and Jogger switch, but Dame is a better shooter, so I can see him kind of be more off guard, just taking point guard duties off his, kind of load off of him, so he could just do what he do best, get buckets and stuff. But got a guard, and that's where Drew Holiday's gonna come in. And then Ja doing what he does, facilitating, getting downhill, finding guys, a lot of thirst and stuff, so it could work. Let's be honest, that's one of them good problems to have. You know what I'm saying? Where you could decipher between 3 former All-Star guards who still got something left. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about Ja, he only 26, man. He just entering his prime. So if he just keep the main thing, he can revitalize his career and make people see Ja again. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that's what happens, man. Because they could be annoying. They already did. Tumani Kamara, one of the best defenders in the league, improved now. Go to 3-point threat and score. Yeah, man. Flanagan takes a leap inside to bang with all these centers out there. They definitely got something. So I'm not worried about that. It's just like, yeah, you're right. Because one thing about the league, guards are easily replaceable. You can find a guard anywhere. So if you don't get it right by a certain time, who's coming up in the draft? All right, go ahead, trade them. We're going to tank. We're going to wait for that crop to come in, just like they did with this year. And there you have it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a young man's game in the league, and it's always next man up. So if you don't get it right, they're going to find somebody who can. That's just how I go, man. Last one, then we're going to get out of here. Well, I'm just going to speed through 2, and then we can go from there. Tim Hardaway Jr. signed, reached a 1-year deal with the Miami Heat for $6.5 million. He spent last season with the Nuggets averaging 13.5 points, 2.6 rebounds, 1.4 assists, and shot 40% from 3 in 80 games. Also, the Detroit Pistons have increased their offer to Jalen Duren in restricted free agency to what they believe will be his most lucrative contract for him. The Pistons are not interested in participating in any sign and trade offers for Duren and will plan on matching any offer sheet he might sign with a rival team. Duren lined up free agent meetings with the Sacramento Kings and Los Angeles Lakers. Octavia, what your thoughts on Tim Hardaway going to the Heat, Jalen Duren situation with the Pistons?
Yeah, Tim Hardaway, I feel like he's had, for lack of a better term, a weird career. He's kind of been in a lot of different places. He has some good years and some bad years, but he's obviously coming off of a really good year. We know Miami needs players because they got rid of a lot. They need players and they need shooting. And he's proved, at least over the last year and some other years in his career, of course, that he can do that. It's nice to see him, go to Miami in that organization. So I'm interested to see how that works out. The Jalen Duren of it all, I'm not surprised they're not willing to move off of him. I'm so petty that I would be the other team and just offer him something ridiculous just to see if Detroit would actually match it, but then I might get caught up really taking it. But
Yeah,
I was like, then I might get caught up really taking it, but that's what happens when you're petty. But yeah,
like, you're fired. $300 million for what? Oh, you get the.
Yeah, pettiness get you fired. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I'm not surprised. We saw what Jalen Duren did last year. We know he still has a lot more to prove going into this year after the playoffs and how he fared in that situation. So I'm not surprised. Detroit is not looking to go back to the Detroit that we saw a few years ago, where they were breaking records for the wrong things. So I'm sure that they are definitely looking to keep him in the fold. And I appreciate when teams are open and honest and upfront, because that doesn't happen obviously a lot. That we're not looking to trade him. Whatever you guys do, we're gonna match it. So have these pointless meetings with him if you won't do say what you want to do or whatever. But he will be in a Detroit Piston uniform this upcoming season. So yeah, very interested in seeing how that works out. And because we know, they underperformed, of course, in the latter part of the playoffs, and they had a hard time in the beginning of the playoffs. But they're going to be slightly different too with Isaiah Stewart leaving the fold as well. So it's going to look different for them regardless as well. But I think they have a good core. We know what Cade Cunningham can do, and the twin. I don't remember which one it is, the angry or the nice one, because one of them is angry.
That's all. Amen in Houston.
Okay, amen is the crash out. That's the crash out. Okay,
Yeah, that's the one in Houston.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's-
they both like. Don't get me. I'm not trying to say one's soft and one's not, but the one in Houston is a crash out.
yeah, that's Amen.
So
I
yeah,
don't know his name Amen, but he the quickest to fight the
yeah,
bullet.
he did. They crash out. He be wilding. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it works out.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with Octavia. I think that's a good move for Miami. You know, Tim Hardaway Jr. is coming off a good year, and you know they're going to need to add some shooting to that roster to give space for those big guys to operate. So, you know, that's a solid pickup. The Jalen Duren situation. I mean, we've talked about that, you know, off wax a couple times. I mean, he put himself in this position. Better performance in the playoffs, and we're not even here right now. But yeah, man, I think, you know, I'm not mad at Detroit at how they're going about it. You know, if you can get what you want elsewhere, see what your value is, and you know, and then we'll make a decision from there. So yeah, I think that's the only way to play that at this point. So you know, hopefully hopefully this is a wake-up call for him as to where, yeah, I can't put myself in this position again. I got to go out and, you know, and show them that, hey, man, we shouldn't have even been going through this in the first place. But, you know, but unfortunately, here we are. So hopefully it works out for all parties involved. And yeah, man. But, man, he cost himself some money in the playoffs, man. That's just fact.
Wilson.
Yeah, with Tim Hardaway Jr., Pat Riley special. You know, we talked a little bit before the draft about what they needed. You know, when we were talking about the Giannis trade and whatnot. You know, last week. But yeah, Tim Hardaway Jr. is exactly the thing. You know, that's the idea of the player that they were looking to add. And of course, Pat does this for the low. 6'5" guard, and what I think he's for his career he shot 36.6 from three on his career, but it's on a decent volume. It's a little under 7 threes a game. It's like 6.5 threes a game, and he shot 40 last year. But go ahead, Cardell.
No, Tim Senior deserves some credit too. That's his connections. You can't forget about that.
Yeah.
He like, let me talk to my son.
Right?
Like, yeah, let me talk to my son real quick. Come on, man. Come on back on.
Like that's and shout out. Hey, look, shout out to that you could just hit the button. It was like, I don't even got to talk to Junior. Hey man, it's be a great spot for Junior. All right, I'll take care of it, Pat. I'm not saying that's how it went, but like again, when you talk about the dictionary with Nori earlier, like this is the rival special, man. Like you're daring somebody who's filled out rosters around stars his entire career as a GM. That's the dare. Hey, I bet you can't put shooters around Bam Adebayo and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Seriously, that's the dare. That's a double dog dare you. Like, go ahead, Carlo.
And see, this is why you gotta look deep into the box score and really know what you're talking about. As soon as they trade on them, like, where the shooting gonna come from? Andrew Wiggins shot 41% from deep last year. Davion Mitchell shot 39% from deep last year. Yeah, Norman Powell, I don't think he coming back. Tyler Hero got like they brought back Jim. Like
I don't watch.
Now you got Tim. Now the playoffs was different, but now you got Giannis and them and all that. It's gonna be some space because that's the difference. Giannis basically replaced young boy Kelly Ware. So it's gonna be some space, man. And one thing Giannis and Bam can do, pass the rock. And how you gonna double both? But you're gonna have to double one of them. You're gonna have to pick your poison. You're gonna have to double one of them. It's gonna be a dunk fest. So, all right.
Just leaving dudes open it again. Going back to people not watching. Wiggins shot exceptionally well last year in Miami, but you'd have to watch Miami Heat games to know that. Davion Mitchell's been improving his free ball every year he's been in the league. He was really good for Miami last year. But again, you'd have to, I don't know, turn on Miami Heat games and actually watch to know that some of what they lost, yeah, that's cool. It hurts. However, there's a lot of stuff still there. And again, you're daring this guy. They live off of G League guys in Miami. They do that for fun. They go to the G League, you'd be like, it's like the scene in Dark Knight with the Joker and a pencil. That's Pat Riley finding people to fill the bench in Miami year after year after year, dog. It's a different person. But yeah, man, not shocked by that. The least bit. Go ahead. Gardner.
Played at Georgetown. Guess what he shot from three? 40%.
Oh,
40%.
Even better. Huh. Shooting they need. Interesting.
Third on the team.
Yeah, man. On the team that had Tyler Hero, they was third shooting the three. Interesting. So you're telling me that after they got rid of all these people, the 3-point, like that's some high 3-point percentage, guys. But ignore me. I'll go mind my business in the dark somewhere. Here's Jalen Duren. All right, so 22 years old. The playoffs was extremely disappointing. But again, going back to the thing of 22 years old, he's mostly available. That discussion we were having with somebody else on the other end of the age spectrum. Yeah, go find the money and we'll match it. Cool. Now it's on to him if he gets that third contract with Detroit. That's on him. You got to handle business here. Like that's what that means. It was like, all right, disappointed us. It's cool. You young. You turned 23 in November. All right, fine. This next 4 years, whatever you about to get, don't disappoint him, man. You might not make it to the end of the 4 years. Like that's it. Like you're young. You're allowed to have. It was a bad playoffs. You can't repeat it. That's it. But I'm not mad at them. You shouldn't give away that for one bad playoff performance. Okay. You just, again, going to business. That's horrible business. Because say you land somewhere else and it's like, oh, we look back and that playoff year that I sucked, that was an outlier. You feel Detroit? Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, just real quick. Yeah, obviously, Tim, another shooter. Go with their shooters. No brainer. Vet, plays defense, understands how to win. Perfect. He grew up in Heat culture because of his pops, so he knows all what it's all about. And Jalen Duren, yeah, he's 22 years old, man. He ain't the first young. He should be a senior in college this past year, and he was all NBA. Yeah, I get it. He had a bad playoff stretch. He got to go back to the lab and find a couple go-to moves inside, like inside, that he can always go to and score. Just you ain't got to be nothing fancy. Just be able to shoot a jump hook with both hands if you can't dunk it. Those are still points. Those points add up. They help the cause and hit your free throws. That's 20 a game right there that you can consistently get throughout the regular season and the playoffs that you can rely on. And that's not even with the rolls and lob throws you're going to get from Cade. You see what I'm saying? So just make matters simple, man. You ain't got to go down here and try to be all dynamic, which I think a lot of players these days worry about too much, and it impacts their overall game. They trying to be too dynamic. We're like, yo, to keep it simple, just get a couple shots you know you can go to when you're in trouble. And that's something you can always call on and stuff. It's just go-to moves, go-to shots. Also, with Duren, and then it's on you, Wilson. I agree. Redeem yourself, because it's a group of young bigs in high school led by, Spears, played football, his son. They're coming.
Oh, yeah, he's nice.
And yeah, how it works in NBA front offices, every team knows they're coming. So they got their profile. They're just keeping an eye on them as they progress, and when they start to make their move to enter the league, you the guy now. You young bull now. Just like we just talked about Ja 4 years from now, you ain't gonna be the young bull. You're gonna be, especially for the type of money you about to want. So you have to get it together, because you got to bear that responsibility and come back. And he's not the first one we've seen young not perform in the playoffs, but then figure it out and become a monster. Scottie Pippen did it with the Bulls early in his career. Didn't play well in the playoffs. Obviously became Hall of Fame Scottie Pippen. I remember the first year when T-Mac was with Vince Carter. T-Mac was balling. Vince was the one the Knicks keyed in on. He didn't have a good series. He redeemed himself. Mac left and went to Orlando. Then they played the Knicks in the first round, and Vince went crazy on him to redeem himself. You don't even talk about it no more. So it happens. You know what I mean? So it's just that social media wasn't around, where it's like you look everywhere you go, it's just everywhere. So yeah, man, just simple go-to moves where he could just score inside. Because his rebound was there, his defense was there. He just wasn't scoring enough, and they needed him to score because Detroit don't score well enough. And when you all NBA, that's part of the package, man.
Yeah, man, it's that simple. But by the time we get back next week, I'm sure there'll be a new list of free agents. We'll be informing you guys on and where they landed, and him who shall not be named, where he lands probably by next week. We'll know, and I guess we'll address that then too. Mystics folks, we'll see you a couple more times. As Ray said earlier, by next Tuesday, they would have had 2 more home games. So we'll see if they can, get back on the winning streak, on the winning side of things. I think the longest streak this year was 3. So we'll see if they can work their way back to that. Hell of a win to go through all that on Sunday and leave with a dub. So let's see if they can build. But we'll check in with you guys then, and by next week we'll be close to the start of summer league too, man. So again, we're this year's moving quick. A couple weeks after that, Octavia will be back talking about training camp and all that nonsense, and then the NBA season be right back around again because stuff goes that quick. But y'all have a great night. Don't forget to get over to FocusTV.com and also to our channels over on Amazon Fire TV and on any Roku television.
Prayers up to Chris Johnson before you go. Prayers up to Chris Johnson.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna get to that, but we ain't got enough time. That's heartbreaking. I just saw him like last year. He was Christian, look like Chris Johnson. It's life, man.
39.
Yeah, man.
Life.
So fast. But yeah, definitely prayers out to Chris Johnson. Y'all have a good one. We'll see y'all next week.